All right, happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to try this again. I'm in my hotel room this week, and internet here is crappy at best. So if you guys jump on, let me know that you're out there. Let me know that you can hear everything all right. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. here Central. This week's going to be a little bit different because this will probably be a shorter show. I wanted to jump on because it's the weekly wrap up, and I'm not sure if we're going to do one next week yet or not. So, all right, so we're good. We're live. All right, we are live. Everything's working. Now we can really get this party started. So, thank you for joining me this week. Those of you that jump on, appreciate it. Each and every week we come on here, talk a little bit about topics that are going on in the news throughout the world, as well as talk about the shows that we have here at Heroes Media Group. I had a question that got brought up to me earlier this week, like, what is Heroes Media Group exactly? Heroes Media Group is a digital media and publishing company. We help produce and host podcasts all over the world. I've been doing it for the latter part of it in here. JD, good morning. Thank you. JD, can you hear me? Is everything coming in all right? What was I saying? So we are a digital media and publishing company. So anything and everything to do with podcasts, we can do. We help people start podcasts. We show them how to monetize their podcasts, how to build their audience. We host the podcast. We can do post-production, and then we help publish it as well. So we can actually host the podcast on our server as well. The other thing that we do is we help authors create their audiobooks. So if you have a manuscript and your book's done and you want to turn it into an audiobook, we help you do that. That is our main focus at HMG, a production company. But we don't just do that. The other side of the thing, some of the other things that we do is we've covered different events. We've done a lot of sporting events throughout the years. We've done conferences. We've done a lot of military type events all over the country, and we've been blessed to do that. And we're slowly now getting into more things coming into 2024. Different types of events, whether you have a conference, whether it's podcast related or military related or first responder related, we cover all of that stuff. We're turning into we're also adding more news stuff onto the website in 2024. But when I was asked, what is Heroes Media Group? A digital media publishing company giving a voice for those that want to be heard and that support our community heroes. That's what Heroes Media Group stands for, is supporting our community heroes. So I wanted to be clear on the messaging there because I've been asked that question, and I wanted to take this opportunity this morning to share that with everybody. I got to give a special shout out this morning to a woman in my life who has known me all my life. She's a very special lady. There's two women that I need to give a shout out to. First one would be my mother. She had a birthday recently, earlier this week. And then today is my grandmother's birthday. My grandmother turns 91 today. I was blessed enough to take her and my grandfather out for an early lunch yesterday. I'm traveling this week. I'm back home, my hometown in Wisconsin. It's that time of year where it's time for me to kind of fill my cup and get out in the woods, sit in the tree stand, freeze my ass off, and just contemplate some of the decisions in my life that I've made throughout the year. I say that kind of jokingly, but it's getting out in nature has always been therapeutic. And with that being said, I some of you know that when I'm on the road, I tend to drive long drives. This drive took me about 15 and a half hours, and I drove straight through, didn't stop other than to get gas. And it's one of those times where I take this opportunity to really talk to God or just think about some of the things that are going on in my life. I kind of revisit some things that have happened, this year, both good and bad, things that I want to happen in the future, and just to get clarity on. And I'm fortunate enough to get to do this, to do something that I love. I love to be able to help other people. I love to always do things for others. It makes me feel good, and I think it's just pretty cool that we get that opportunity to do that. So, JD, I wish I could read this whole thing. I'll read that here in a minute. Jeff Demers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a hand. And I'm saying all this, I'm very thankful because, you look at it, we're at the tail end of 2023 already. Next week is Thanksgiving. And really, a question I want to ask everybody this morning is, what is it that you are thankful for? Look at your life, and what is it that you're thankful for? I'm thankful for the fact that I got to be a father. I'm thankful for my wife, my family. I'm thankful for all of you, those of you that watch this, whether it's the live here this morning or, most of you watch this later on in the day, and I thank you for that. I got to give a huge, huge thank you to all of the shows that are on the network, and the clients that we work with that aren't necessarily on the website as well. We have a pretty good staff here that we get to work with and whatnot. So to all the shows, thank you. And JD, I know you're on right now. Jeff Demers has been, he's one of those guys that I would say has turned into family. I've known JD in our corporate days. Back in 2008 is when we first met, and he's put his trust in me over the years, and has been along on this journey with me. So JD, I thank you, brother, for that. I'm thankful for opportunities. I'm thankful for being able to get up in the morning, do what I love, and again, I'm thankful for all of you. We've got some incredible things coming to HMG here over the next couple of months. I've been telling you that we're launching a new website starting at the beginning of the year. I've been in touch with the web development team. My friend Kaylin is heading up that process, and she's absolutely amazing. Another longtime friend who I'm blessed to have in my life. And we got some. It's cool to see some of the things that are coming. We got some new shows that are starting, and we have some new services that we are going to be offering in 2024. So if you're a podcaster or you're thinking about starting a podcast and you're not sure where to start, reach out to us and let us know, because we would love to help you out. Yeah, thanks, bro. That means the world, man. It does. Um, I'm kind of a what they call a serial entrepreneur, I guess is the word, right? We have Heroes Media Group here. You guys have seen me post about our sister company HMG Beverage, and we got some new coffee stuff coming out that we've already sent samples out, and we're getting good reviews on. So we're excited about that. We have the start of HMG Distributing, which is starting in February of 2024. We have partnered and got a warehouse in Springfield, Missouri, where that's going to be our distribution center there for our spirits, and we're going to be opening that up to other companies. So if you're a veteran-owned company and you need help distributing, get a hold of us. Be able to help there as well. So, and the other thing that I'm really looking at in 2024 as well that I'm grateful for is some new companies that are coming on board and new partnerships that we have coming on board as well. Not just for HMG. When I say HMG, I'm not just talking about Heroes Media Group. I'm talking about all of the shows that make up HMG, because the people, and goes for you that are looking to start a podcast or want to be part of the Heroes Media Group family, you'll get these benefits and stuff as well. There's benefits to being a part of the HMG family. JD asked if the Spirit nationwide yet. February. So when we're launching everything is in February. We're tying up the loose ends right now, but great question. Thank you. So it's exciting. There's a lot to be thankful for, and I guess I'm getting into this because Thanksgiving's next week. We're kind of getting into that time of year where I think a lot of people tend to get down because everything is dying. It's cold as crap outside right now. But it's really a mindset. We got to check on each other, and I don't know. The drive this time the drive was just different for me, and I guess I'm kind of putting myself out there a little bit, but I had to think a lot about stuff, and I'm definitely grateful and happy to do the things that I get to do and love. But that doesn't mean I don't struggle. I mean, it's I play mind games with myself. I'm just guilty as the next guy, and it's something else. But I'm grateful for you guys. Christina, good morning, sis. How are you? What's the mic you're using? JD, it's called DJI. Go to DJI.com. It's hooked up into my phone, and then it's kind of this different mic that you see, the little green button right there. So check that out. All right, let's dive into this here. I got a lot going on this week, opening deer hunting season. So all you hunters out there, be safe, shoot straight, and good luck to y'all. Yeah, let's dive in. I don't have a lot of news I want to cover, but I had a couple. And this one's kind of an older one, but it got brought up in my social media feeds a few times. And I can't help but say this. The way that I'm sitting right now, and there's a light right behind me, and it's got like this aura. Yeah, you're welcome. The World Health Organization, the WHO, World Health Organization, who put these people in charge? I don't recall getting a memorandum voting for who the World Health Organization is going to put. Same with the World Economic Forum. Now, as I'm saying this, I need to tell you this, and I need you guys to listen to this. Please share our stuff when you see it. When I post about a particular show or stuff, share it. This certain platform has shadowed us from whatnot. We can't run any ads or anything like that. We're not very liked very well on this particular platform. And that's probably going to change in 2024 as well, as far as where we do these lives. That said, back to the greedy people of the world. World Health Organization. The world hopes to enact a pandemic treaty by May of 2024. Is it going to succeed? Look this up. This is actually this. They started talking about this back in September. They've been bringing it up quite a bit. But in May of 2024, there's several nations that are getting together that have to vote on this, and they will not be talked about. They're not allowed to talk about it in their news outlets, their papers. They're not supposed to talk about it in social media or anything like that. Why is this important? Why am I bringing this up? It's important for you guys to understand what's going on because the mainstream media is not talking about this stuff. Anything from the World Economic Forum, look up the 2030 agenda, the World Health Organization, look who are involved in these organizations and pay very close attention to what's being said because it affects you whether you think it does or not. That's all I'm going to say about that. Next one. Something I found very interesting this week. An independent AI nation. An independent AI, artificial intelligence nation in the sea to bypass regulations. There is this huge city. It's basically a city in international waters. And it's the Blue Sea Frontier Computer Cluster, the BSFCC, is a supercomputer situated in international waters, a giant floating data center containing thousands of NVIDIA GPUs. It's so big that it can operate as a separate nation and can provide artificial intelligence, or AI, power to any corporation, any government across the globe. The purpose is to tap into the power of its tens of thousands of GPUs to train and deploy the, quote, next generation of large-scale AI models. Why is this important for you guys? AI is the talk of the town. AI, everybody thinks, oh, AI is pretty cool, right? Name me a movie where AI is taken over. I'll wait. JD, if you're on, I'm sure you know this one. Name a movie or movies where a lot of AI has taken over or shows the takeover of AI. Artificial intelligence. There was that Will Smith movie. Thank you, JD. iRobot. That's the one I'm thinking of. Are there pros and cons? There's pros and cons to anything new, right? And every generation has gone through something new. And this is, you could say that this is our generations of new technology that we're kind of unsure of, but it's exciting, but it's dangerous. But it's exciting, but is it good for us, right? And the thing with AI is that, sure, there's a lot of there's still a human base to it. Take the AI vehicle, the non-drivers, the computer-generated, drivers. Jeff, I know you guys have these down in Phoenix. They've had these for years down there. Ryan, what's up, brother? Good morning. Appreciate you jumping on. AI is you're missing the human factor on a lot of things when it comes to AI, right? If you're driving a vehicle, flying a plane, I don't know if I'd get on a plane where there wasn't a pilot. It was flown just strictly AI. I don't know if I could do that. But AI has a lot of pros and cons. You see like this Chat GPT and stuff like that, and it can help writers with writer's block and make things sound a little more articulate and so forth. It's helped. I've used it in that realm of it. The downfalls to AI, and there's a podcast that talks about this, environmentally speaking, they've talked about it, is it takes up a lot of, what does AI do to the environment? How much energy does it take to produce and look up stuff? using AI, and you would be surprised at how much energy it takes to generate and use AI. And then, you look at Elon Musk has talked about AI is going to be very dangerous because it'll eventually start wiping out the human race. Will that happen in our lifetime? I don't know if we'll see that happen in our lifetime per se. But the fact that it's being discussed should be something that we should talk about, don't you think? So it's pretty interesting to see that they've already have a supercomputer that's sitting in international waters that can send information to any corporation or any government on the globe. It's going to be interesting how this Look this up. Blue Sea Frontier Computer Cluster. That's what it is. The Blue Sea Frontier Computer Cluster. It's a supercomputer. Pretty interesting. It's also pretty scary. So, my opinion. Let's dive into the shows here. And I want to say this again. Those of you that watch this later on and whatnot, you can check out all of the great shows that we have at HMG. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com and enjoy it while you can, because that website's going to look much different here in the next 6 weeks. So, loving it. All right. Let's get into some of the shows. JD, I see you. I'm on the phone though, so I can't read everything, but I'll check it out and I'll respond. All right. First up, we got Be Relentless this week. John dives into the Waymaker community. That's what it's called. That's what he calls it, the Waymaker community. What is it? He's talking about the different tiers that the Waymaker community has, understanding the different levels of it, from the open source to the Waymaker membership. The community examining the interplay between individual efforts and collective growth across different tiers. This is a pretty cool thing that John's created. John Mayo is the host of Be Relentless. He's also the creator of the Waymaker community. We're going to dive into that a little bit more, but check this out. It's Be Relentless. Next up, we got the Hero Academy with our host and man, Super Dave. This week, he's talking with SWAT officer Brandon Griffith, whose life took an unexpected change to his peak physical fitness, because at the age of 26 years old, he experienced a sudden cardiac arrest, collapsing in his living room. In this compelling episode, Brandon recounts a surreal experience of being shocked by the automated external defibrillator, or the AED as they also call it, vividly remembering every detail of the first responders on scene helping him. He shares his challenges he faced when he returned to work with a defibrillator implanted into his chest, and the stigma and misconceptions surrounding officers with such medical devices. Now, I wouldn't think that you'd see a lot of officers with a lot of medical devices as they go on patrol or what have you. But Brandon also founded the Griffith Blue Heart, a nonprofit dedicated to enhancing law enforcement's ability to handle cardiac emergencies. The organization aids agencies in raising funds, training personnel, implementing policies to deploy AEDs in the field. Brandon's story, marked by resilience and the commitment to saving lives, serves as a powerful statement to the importance of proactive cardiac care within the law enforcement community. Now, I think this is great what he's doing, because we really do need to protect our law enforcement better. So check that out. That's this week's the Hero Academy podcast with host Super Dave. Next up, we got Label Free podcast. Oh, I'm sorry. Beyond the Rut. Beyond the Rut. Check him out. He's got some stuff coming up here soon. Jerry, the host, it's his anniversary this week with his lovely bride. So happy anniversary to you all there. Check it out, Beyond the Rut. Next up, we have Label Free podcast. This week, Sam Mendel, co-founder and the CEO of Ketamine Clinics in Los Angeles. Sam shares his personal journey and his passions for mental health advocacy, streaming from his own experience and friends and members who have had and have struggled with mental health issues and addiction. He explains that ketamine, which is an FDA-approved anesthetic, is also effective treatment for depression, PTSD, anxiety, and chronic pain. He emphasizes that ketamine treatments has a success rate of 83%. That's amazing. And they talk about some of the misconceptions surrounding ketamine and the challenges of rising awareness due to the lack of pharmaceutical marketing. Ketamine, not something you would expect that would be used in treating anxiety, depression, or PTSD. Shay Sparks, good morning to you, dear. How are you? Yeah. I laugh because Shay, she sends me these funny things in the morning. Anyway, she's good people. And we'll be talking about Shay stuff here in a minute. So ketamine. How many people out there that watch this, how many people have you tried a ketamine treatment, or do you know somebody that has done it? I know of 2 people that have done ketamine treatments, and I've got one pro and one con. So it's been kind of I've heard both sides of it. It's been pretty interesting. Could I do it myself? I don't know. I don't. It's different. You work for a drug task force for a few years and you learn about stuff, but then now, 15 years later, you're finding out that certain things that you used to talk about are helping people. So it's pretty interesting. I think this is an open conversation that we need to discuss and talk about the different types of treatment that helps anxiety, PTSD, and depression. So more on that, so stand by. But that's this week's Label Free podcast. Make sure you check that out. Next up, we got The Other Side of the Firewall. Love these guys. Anything IT related. They do a show Monday through Friday. They do a show every day. And they talk about anything, different breaches. This week there was a lot of breaches. Maine's residents suffer from data breach. Paid ransomware gang releases data anyway. You really got to pay attention to your data on the internet. It's crazy. JD treatments are individually based upon. Yeah. Makes sense. It's different, and it's funny about these different treatments real quick. I'll go back to this real quick, and I got to move on. But what works for one person may not work for somebody else, right? And it makes sense. We know that. So anything IT related, this is a great show to really learn a lot of stuff. And their shows are anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes, so it's very easy to consume. Other Side of the Firewall, check it out. Oh, you AZ peeps, this next one's going to affect you. Carry On Politics. This week, congressional candidate Stovall, an Army reservist, is running for Arizona's 5th District. As for those of you that don't know, the 5th District down there in Arizona is Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, and like Apache Junction, all the way down to Queen Creek. So it's that east side of the valley there. Stovall opens up about his military journey, breaking barriers, and then shares his vision for the future. Alex, which is his first name, would be the youngest black Republican elected to Congress at the young age of 29. As this episode unfolds, listeners can reflect upon the meaningful insights as he deploys compelling arguments, arguing us to rethink our socio-political standard and challenge our preconceived notions about conservatism. This is a very interesting episode this week. So check it out. Let's Carry On Politics. Next up, we have the Decision Hour with yours truly. This week, we're reshaping identity and creating value. It's a conversation with our man, John Mayo. John, who is also the host of Be Relentless, right? John is hey, David, what's up, brother? John is an Army veteran, serial entrepreneur, shares his powerful journey that encompasses a departure from the military, rigorous focus on self-improvement, and a continued fight against adversity. We dive into what the Waymaker community initiative is about. We talk about his book and podcast, Be Relentless, and the establishment of the universal learning approach and the groundbreaking product that he calls Sisu Stamina, which is, I just happen to have some of that. I take this everywhere, Sisu Stamina, which you can get on our website by clicking on the image, and you'll get use promo code HEROES10 and get 10% off. We talk about engaging with the desire, yet rising above, maintaining relentless commitment to creating meaningful change. John's got a really cool story. He's a good guy. He's become very active in the HMG community as well. So make sure you check this out. This week's Decision Hour, and then also again go check out Be Relentless. David Willis, if you're on, sir, we need to chat soon. Make a note of that. Next up, we got Time to Shine Today with our man Scott Ferguson. This week, he's speaking with Doreen Rivers, a.k.a. River. And this week, some of the takeaways of their conversation is live a life that is daring, adventure every single day. Embrace new experiences with an open arms and let your journey unfold. Also, they talk about true belief comes from actively living, facing challenges, and knowing that you can conquer anything that you set your mind to. I love this. Check it out. It's our man Fergie with the Time to Shine Today podcast. David, will do. Good. I hope so. We didn't do it soon, man. Next up, the Shay Sparks Show. I don't know if Shay is still on here, but Shay, this week, she is navigating fear of AI while building a community with Mark Savant. We were just talking about AI earlier, huh? You'd almost think I geared stuff like this around this, but this didn't happen. It's just completely coincidence. This week, are you one of those people who have heard the term AI and you're running scared and you don't know what to think about it? And you're getting a little nervous about what it means. What does AI mean for the future? Well, they talk about how AI can help create a community. This week, Mark Savant, he's the founder and podcast of the podcast production agency, Mark Savant Media, and they talk everything artificial intelligence this week. So check it out. It's the Shay Sparks Show. All right, next up. Excuse me. That no shave November, you got the whiskers itching in. Next up, we got the Because Bikers Matter podcast. This week, Rocco Falabella, I'm pretty sure I said that right, the director of rentals and tours at Ride Now. Great story, I love that story. Rocco shares his background in motorcycle industry, from riding dirt bikes in Southern California to owning Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and now he rides an Indian Challenger and expresses how much he loves the Indian brand. He talks about Ride Now and highlight the company's focus on providing exceptional experience for their customers. And then also, he also announces that in the month or during, there's a special discount, for veterans and military families during Veterans Day month. Listeners are encouraged to visit Ride Now Rentals website for more information. So check that out, Because Bikers Matter podcast. Ride Now, great company. In fact, I bought my first street bike from a Ride Now store in, I think it was technically Goodyear, Arizona, back in the day. All right, what do we got next? Next up, the Misfit Nation podcast. This week, Unlocking Health Transformation, a journey to fitness and wellness with Roman Fitcher. Roman has dedicated years of empowering individuals to embrace their brilliance, exceed expectations, and conquer their goals, from top-tier athletes to business managers and so on. He's guided them to unleash their true potential and soar beyond their limits. This week, they're going to dive into proven strategies for unlocking peak performance and overcoming obstacles and transforming setbacks into stepping stones. This is a great episode. Rich does a great job. The Misfit Nation, check it out. Next up, environmentally speaking. Topic this week is reclaiming abandoned golf courses, a sustainable solution for land restoration. I'm a golfer, or used to be, and this was such a cool episode. The topic of reclaiming abandoned, unloved, unpopular golf courses. They discussed the dwindling number of golf courses that have opened since 2006, and they explored the efforts made by organizations to reclaim some of these spaces and restore biodiversity. They also touch on the controversial notion of reclaiming golf courses as a solution to combat climate change. That part of it is very interesting episode, and I think you're going to be surprised at what Marissa and Clarice have to say. They also talk about the movement to make home lawns more diverse and the benefits of leaving the leaves on the ground. Don't rake your leaves, leave them on the ground. There's benefits to that. What are the benefits? You're going to have to tune in and listen to Environmentally Speaking to find out. So check it out. What do we got here? David, Rich Lamont. Yeah, Rich is cool, man. Rich is a good dude. Good dude. Next up, we got the MSEC podcast with our friends over at the Military Child Education Coalition. This week, Julie Butner, she shares how Tarrant Area Food Bank in Fort Worth, Texas, has been empowering their local community to alleviate hunger for over 40 years, and their special relationship with military and veteran families in the Fort Worth area. They're making a difference in the lives of those in need while continuing to develop, innovate practices to expand their network and support. These people are doing some great things for our military families and veteran communities down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Check it out. That's this week's MSEC podcast. Next up, we got our friends over at the Arms Room Show. They do a show every Monday. Comes out every Monday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This week, they're discussing small unit tactics for the average responder. Small unit tactics for the average responder. You guys need to listen to this episode. Check it out, the Arms Room Show. If you're not following them, you need to be. Here's the thing. All these shows that I mentioned, you can find them on Heroes Media Group. You can click on their show page, and you can click on a little icon what social media platform you want to follow them on. Make sure you do so, please. Show some love for these guys. I'm loving it. Next up, we got Chasing Happiness. This week, Roy Osing is the guest. He's a maverick in the business world. He shares his unfiltered, raw insights on what keeps the scale of the heights of the entrepreneurial success, from laughable mistakes to strategic master strokes. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of emotions and lessons in this week's episode of Chasing Happiness. Check it out. This one here, I'm going to try to say this, be mature about it. The Joel Evans Show. This week, this one is for the ladies. This was a juicy podcast. This week was with Lana Carr. She's the founder of CO2 Lift, talking about anti-aging and women's health, specifically decrease in vaginal blood flow and clitoral Atherpy. Yep. This is a very common problem for women that is not often talked about, which leads to pelvic floor issues, boring sex, and lack of self-confidence. She's helping women to rejuvenate with CO2 therapy. Ladies, seriously, check this episode out. It's the Joel Evans Show this week. Great episode. Next up, we got People's Patriot Project with We Got Your 6 at 6. This week, it was funny. I got Mark, when I come up to the Midwest up here, Big Mark Peterson sent me a text last night. And I thought he was with our friends from Rise Up, Voices from the Front Lines. But that was last week down in Texas. And this is what this episode is. It was earlier this week. These colors don't run. And when they say these colors don't run, this show's talking about, they're showing how we are all in support of all of those who have fought and bled to keep the red, white, and blue as our symbol of freedom. WP3 is here, and this week Scotty Frazier and Ben Cardozer are here to share their missions and their music with us. The People's Patriot Project, nonprofit organization, and I absolutely love these guys. Andrea and Mark, they've done a fantastic job over the years putting this together. This particular show, they do a lot of veteran bands and singers and stuff like that, and they do a round table and they highlight these folks. And this show has gotten big quickly. So check it out. They do a round table every Sunday. Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's called We Got Your 6 at 6. And they do several shows throughout the week, but this particular one, We Got Your 6 at 6, is Sunday nights, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The People's Patriot Project. Check it out. And then next up, we got the S3 with JD. JD, are you still on? I got a question for you. Because the thing that I saw on this week is JD asked the question, would you go to the LeBron James Museum in Akron, Ohio? I'm going to say this again. Would you go to the LeBron James Museum in Akron, Ohio? My answer, no, I would not. Let's talk about sports for a second. Let's talk about this LeBron James. There's been a lot of comparison between LeBron and Michael Jordan. I wasn't a big Jordan fan growing up. I was a Celtics fan growing up. Huge Bird fan. I loved Magic. I liked Jordan as I got older. But you look at that era of basketball players, and it's different compared to what's going on, today. I'm not going to sit here and badmouth LeBron saying that he's a crybaby and he tries to make every play all about him and stuff. I'm not going to say that today. No, I'm not gonna say that he's a crybaby and stuff like that. But to compare him to Michael Jordan, who's done so much for the game on just so many different levels, is ludicrous, in my opinion. And again, I say I wasn't the biggest Jordan fan growing up. But David, I'm not going to say that today. I'm not going to say that that he's a crybaby and that he makes it all about him and that there's an arrogance there. But I'm not going to say that today. But what I will say is, has he brought something to the game? Sure. But you have to compare him. I think you're comparing apples and oranges, or apples and grapes, or in this case, apples and lemons. Jordan, it was just a different era back then. Oh yeah, and Larry Bird. I was a huge Bird fan, and No relation to Larry, even though my last name's Bird. No relation to Larry. And I got that a lot when I was a kid. And everybody's like, oh, Larry Bird, he sucks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, dude, Larry Bird was probably the biggest trash talker in the NBA during that time. And he could back it up. And you ask Isaiah Thomas, you ask Magic Johnson, you ask, any of the Patrick Ewing, you think about I don't know, it's easy to think about the guys that you watched, growing up and what they did, and so forth. But I think what the NBA does now is they focus it's not about the teams anymore, it's about the individuals. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion. Don't get mad at what I'm saying. I think in today's world that it's not about the teams, it's about certain individuals. That's what it is. It's become you remember the And One series? The professor and all of the Escalade and all those guys, they'd walk around and they'd go to like the Rucker in New York and they'd play street ball. That's basically what the NBA has come. It's become, and honestly, I would watch And One before I'd watch the NBA today. There's just, it's become too individualized. And I think LeBron James is the poster child of that. I'm sure I'll get some hate mail from this, and that's quite all right. Because here's the other thing. I wasn't a big Kobe fan at the time. And God, I look at what Kobe did for the game, and him and he was very close to Michael Jordan, and rightfully so. I would pick Kobe over LeBron 10 out of 10 times. I wouldn't pick LeBron. You're talking two different eras at two different games. You can't compare the two. The 80s and 90s were just far more superior than I think any of the teams that you see today. Because it's not about the teams, it's about the individuals now. That's my opinion. JD, Larry Bird had the same amount of points the games of Kester. Yeah. You're right. There's no I in team, but there is a me in that mother effer, right? I think that's how they look at it. I think that's how they look at it. The NBA is I think just sports as a whole nowadays is just different than what it was when we were growing up. And people can say that, oh, there's more opportunity, there's more this, there's more that. There's more money being shoved around nowadays, but it's not about the teams anymore. You look at, when was the last time there was an actual dynasty? The Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls. When was there when was the last time there was actually, when they were talking about like dynasty type teams? You know what I mean? The Pistons. The Pistons are another one. You look at them. Dennis Rodman, before Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer. Detroit, the bad guys of the league at that time. You had Magic, Kareem, Worthy. You look at John Stockton, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Steve Kerr. You got Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, or I said Magic, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale. It's just a different era. I couldn't name 10 players that play in the NBA today. I stopped watching it because it got to be so crappy. Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway back in the day. God, the list goes on. Like it was about the teams back then. Celtics were my team, and but you always had to watch the Bulls, and you always had to watch the Lakers. You always had to watch the Pistons because you never knew. Oh, the Knicks, Patrick Ewing. what was his name? Stokes is the other one. I can't forget. John Stokes, I think. What was his name? Again, different era. And then I remember KG, Kevin Garnett, when he first came to the league right out of high school. He was like the first big time guy coming out of high school. They made a big deal out of that. That was, God, years and years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. But you to compare LeBron James and Michael Jordan, that's in my opinion, that's foolish. It's foolish because it's not the same game as what it was back then. Yeah, Pippen, Stockton, it was just a different game. How high would you list Jordan if he never got paired with Phil Jackson? Brandy, good morning, sweetheart. How are you? Appreciate you jumping on. JD, I don't know. Him and Phil, let me see here. I don't want anything outside of Jackson. Again, JD, you're comparing it. I mean, it's different. We don't know because it didn't happen. We have to go off of what happened at that time. That's like saying, who, LeBron. Who did LeBron have? How many coaches did he go through? Kobe had Phil for a while. Phil Jackson is a great coach, amazing coach. But that's coaches. You talk about other coaches. Who else do you throw in there? Red Auerbach. Back in the day with the Celtics. The list can go on. Anyway, so I think we're right now we're talking about the NBA, but I think if you look at sports as a whole right now, particularly the NBA and the NFL, it's hard to. Maybe not so much the NFL. The NFL is still pretty much there's still talk about a lot of team players and whatnot. You look at the NBA. I just think the NBA is gone downhill. It has. Will I go to a live game? Sure, I'd go to a live game, cover it, and whatnot. But you look at what's there. Where's the story, behind it? I think a lot of the times you're looking at individuals as opposed to the teams as a whole. Now, again, that's just my opinion. All right, real quick here, and then we got to go. But it did happen. Jordan didn't win anything in his first 7 years, and Phil took the Lakers to the title also. So you're asking me how high would I rate Jordan? I would still rate him up there as one of the greatest. For me to say, are you asking me how high I would rate him between him and LeBron? Or are you asking me how high I would rate him overall? I don't have LeBron in the first top five. I don't have LeBron in the top five. He's not a top five, in my opinion. Bird, Magic, Jordan, those three, definitely, Bird, Magic, Jordan. But then you go even deeper back, are we bringing in Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, would Jordan still be the greatest without Phil Jackson? Are we assuming that his numbers, JD, is Jordan? Are we using Jordan's numbers that he has even without Phil Jackson? You got to be more specific on that question. David Willis, what do we have? LeBron wouldn't make my top 10. Yeah, this sounds like a bashing here, and that's not my intent. Hey, Lance, good morning, brother. How are you? Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you. Appreciate you, brother. And you have a good Thanksgiving as well, man. Hope everything's going well for you. I think when you look at sports, you really have to. We're using no titles if you never had Jackson as a coach. I still think I still think he's better than LeBron. I still think Jordan's better than LeBron. Oh, Brandy, look at this. Brandy comes in. Jordan still had the skill set that was unmatched. I got to go with Brandy on this one. Brandy, thank you for saving my ass on this one. That's true. I agree with that. Jordan still had the skill set. Hockey. Why are we? Why, people watch hockey? Do they still watch hockey? I'm kidding. Hockey, here's the thing, real quick. Hockey, I love watching hockey. I couldn't tell you who's on the ice at all right now, but I love watching hockey, and I love going to like a lot of the AAA games, like the Hershey Bears out in Pennsylvania. I've gone to half a dozen of those. Love going out to that stuff. Hockey's a fun sport to watch. I couldn't tell you who's on it because it's like I remember Jeremy Roenick and Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hall, Mario Lemieux. Like I remember those, and that's about it. Oh, JD, yeah, you're in a Dan Marino was a better quarterback than the best. You guys, Bobby Orr, another one. Yeah, I do remember him. And JD, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna comment on this. Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived. From an individual standpoint, you're right. That's from an individual standpoint. Didn't have what it takes to, or it wasn't him per se, but he wasn't surrounded by the people that could take him to a Super Bowl. I thought they were going to do it there for a few years, but Dan Marino, great quarterback. You're right. But that being said, Pistol Pete, great back. I love it. We're getting off on this whole on all sports. Nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. Let me say this real quick as I have to wrap up here, guys. No show next week. Next week is Thanksgiving, and I will be driving back east next Friday. So I'll probably, if I do a show, it might be last minute, and it'll probably be on Saturday. Deer hunting this week for all you deer hunters out there. Be safe, and when I started the argument, take care of my. I guess I did start it. My bad. Deer hunting this week, so all you hunters out there, be safe. God bless you, and good luck to you guys. Everybody out there, listen, man. Check on your friends. Again, this week has been an interesting week. The drive out here, the 15 hours, had a lot of time to really think about stuff, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I thank each and every one of you that jump on here and that support Heroes Media Group and support all the podcast shows, and everybody, all of you that watch us each week. I wish all of you and your families a very safe and happy Thanksgiving, because I am certainly thankful that you are here, and I very much appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, everybody. God bless you. God bless America. And we'll see you guys again real soon. Take care.